Ryzen do this like monster disable. So she's going to be great effectively at dealing with these heroes. Plus she can protect herself against Weaver pretty easily using her darkness spooky skill. I don't remember what it's called. Shadow Realm.
Darkness spooky skill.
Same thing. I mean, she's
this is a
literally
man who gets paid to talk about Dota 2 for a living, guys.
She's literally a Halloween-looking hero to BH. So spooky is her middle name, probably.
I don't believe so.
It should be, dude. Look, she makes bramble mazes. Like, you could literally like cosplay your house as like Dark Willow, basically, during Halloween. Like, it would not be difficult to work that in.
Are these the things you think about?
No,
in
I
your
just thought
free
about
time?
it right now. They terrorize on loop for hours
just,
to get ready for
have
Halloween.
her laugh. Have her laugh on loop, because that is horrifying.
It wouldn't even be hard. You take all of her voice lines. Probably some like software crap you could do.
I would love to see some. By the way, if you do the idea of making a dark hat, me at Moxie
10 seconds
or
remaining.
at Purge Gamers, because I definitely have the crazy mind of
thinking
about this.
Yeah. Mirana's going to be the follow-up here for. So this, everybody plays. Very likely we're going to.
10 seconds remaining.
It's still up in the air.
And again, it's
likely
5 seconds remaining.
I'd imagine that's going to be limited.
All right, it's more about S4.
That is the question. You know, is it going to be something that's team fight oriented? Are we going to have something Fight Hunter that he likes to play?
Yeah, like S4 here. Off lane. Alliance has been.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Lockdown, big team fight ulti.
I like it. Well,
but then there's so many people that he has to try to catch. Weaver, who.
Oh no, Aster's picking a carry. Did I get confused?
I'm talking about Lani.
Oh, you're saying. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant that like Ursh. I gotcha.
Yeah, he can't catch him. Yeah. So like obviously Doom most. Weaver, of course, probably maybe him, maybe the.
10 seconds remaining.
Like having that other.
Faceless void.
That is another good catch.
Yes, they start off the draft with the. Then they move.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Dead heroes.
There's still 3 more heroes, and then they take the Nico Baby Wraith King, who doesn't care.
All right, who's the
I bet you it's Weaver. Bet you one of those cakes that they have out there. Oh man.
I mean. Yeah, it's better 4 is all I'm gonna say. He kind of needs some net worth. He's gonna probably die a lot.
Who do you put as the 5?
Yeah, you have to do this.
You have to do it.
I mean, it's literally the counter to what I just said. It's like he doesn't care if he's doomed. If he gets Kronos, a bit of a downer. So I think this is a smart pick. Basically, their carry is going to be in place. Their support's going to be the worst as a 5 Weaver. You definitely do it, but I generally or they buy an item that does something. Ags at a rel. So, but it's gonna lead. I think it's a cool idea to pivot. Maybe FNG. Han player. I'm not calling him Archer. That probably did it 5 minutes ago.
Dude, my favorite just goes on these. When I'm playing Han, and I'm just like, oh god, it's happening again. Start tuning out.
talk about.
Oh, he does that too.
Let's compare this exact moment in DOTA with something that's
From either
absolutely
something
nothing
sports,
to do with DOTA.
something like, or somehow he's like, when Gandalf was going to save them, when he's going into Helm's Deep. This is this moment, and I'm just like, okay, dude, I understand the reference, but
Oh my god, I can move my camera. I am so happy. Can you?
I can.
Oh, thank. I don't know if you guys could tell, but the last 2 games, I literally edge pan. Possible as a bug.
They didn't see your PC. They only saw JJ.
I just need to rest right now because I'm so happy. My full brain power can work now. Is the cast gonna feel better? Probably not.
Camera is fast, isn't it? Well, I'm using JJ's presets, everybody. He has abandoned us for other jobs that he needs to do. You are now stuck with me, and of course there's a storm spirit in the game, so thanks, Moxie. You know, let's do our best.
So they instantly awarded the enemy.
Yeah, you can't let them get that leg up.
Yeah, guess
No.
not.
30 seconds to battle.
Little poke here over at Borax. And they make his way over as well. Nothing just yet. You can hear those crowd yells though. I love this.
Yeah,
I love the
very cool.
excitement. Make some noise, guys. See if you can drown each other out. Yeah, just poke a little bit at Monet. Again, it's going to be pretty difficult to do much to him as he does have the IO and the climb walk. So,
It worked. Look, they put the sentry down. So happy about that one. Like, haha, suckers, we already killed our own ward. Nothing.
hey, that's
Rewarded.
gold wasted. Wasted right there.
Exactly, that's what. Ward it. I saw them play. Alright. We'll see if that gets. Ping did the same at general area again. He doesn't know where it is, so.
That'll take the wind from their sails.
Later.
All eyes over here on White Album. Again, the guy that's not been feeling super well, but he didn't want to let his team down. So.
Stuff that you get used to.
Yeah.
It's a feat that it's just hard to replace that rapidly. Players can play slightly different player well, and sometimes and that causes mistakes. So, no matter what, I mean, he's the guy that that got here. Glad that he's getting.
I am too. Let's hope that he doesn't start to tear. A lot of times. I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy down here in this bottom lane unless somehow Lanham gets arrow or what. But generally speaking, I don't believe.
Even then, unlikely. Like until at least level. You got tree throw, toss.
But I also feel like you know what they're talking about if you say like tree, just tree.
Got that tree skill.
Got that tree.
With the tree skill, you will get more for last hit. Therefore, it's key to have kill. Guard. It'll clear mid album again.
Oh, the drag back. Not quite enough though. He did just get that bottle brought to him as well. Up. Water rune here and good. Already have the bottle online for Storm's White Album will be up, but Limp already dropping down the sentry here. Slide around and get rid of
Bought us on set. Like so many dedicated, but hey, it's gonna help force do these those little deaths here and there. Start gets you first spirits, you get that static from it. About it. Block one. E8 shoot. Surprised he didn't get him. Oh, probably because he just trade there.
top lane. Have had a couple skirmishes back and forth here. Dark Willow, though, known for being extremely survivable. He has that point. Shadow
Don't
Realm.
take it the wrong way,
Be
but
a
I
bit
try not to
difficult
traffic with
FNG to actually find kills, but we'll be able to poke quite a bit.
I didn't catch it. Lanham might die.
Lanham's gonna die. I caught the Lanham death at least.
Hooray, great kill. Picking up tiny early resets got pretty. Oh.
Never refuse gold.
Arrows the archer. That Bug's doing a lot of damage to
A lot of
XXS.
damage. After trying to sidestep these brambles, turn around, put out a little bit over on Borax.
Don't hit that. Oh, he was gonna hit. Flirt with the Halloween house.
Is that what we're calling it now? You all have flirt? That's the immortal? Oh, okay. I've always used it.
Radiant structures are fortified. They must have seen dark clouds on the horizon.
Play them. Get up.
Turn back around over onto XXS. They've got some nice body blocks again. We have the brambles, we've got the flowers on the ground. That haunted house will make it. I'm making this now because of you. Haunted house will prevent XXS. Definitely playing that pressure. Bottom lane seems like the Void doing all right here in terms of farm. And okay, yeah. That's finally falling here in this top lane.
I like Nico Baby is like one of the. It's like stunner. It's like sometimes gets 2 points. Else does this, but a little stuff can kill. So I think it's kind of like laney. A lot of carries are just about min-max. He likes to win lane. Farming is boring.
Radiant's courier has
It is, but it's
been
also
slain.
very, very needed. In the middle lane, though, Lim taking too much damage. He is going to fall underneath the tower.
Guaranteed.
The Dyer's
He was
poor
close
top
actually.
tower.
Got through the remnant down. Just
Can
needs
its end
wand
be
and then
drawing nigh?
kill. Grab top. Does get it.
Does indeed. And that's
Lucky.
a nice double damage run.
Oh, he's
Don't
gonna
look like
save
he's
it.
going to teleport back, though.
Burning it just get feels kind of a.
No.
You basically have max position
Dyer's
lane,
structures
so
are
now with
fortified
DD, like,
against
you
all
got DD
comers.
built into having Gen and a couple last. Not very good. Get a kill instead. That'll do more.
Be interested to see where he's going to head. Like you said, it's hitting. So we have a new rotation coming out, though. Go for the chains over onto Borax. FNG looking for the fine. Back off now that White Album has appeared. They see that he's got the double damage bottle, so they don't want to necessarily push the luck.
Trying to be efficient there. Gets a little harassing. Jumps in guard onto the little release it. Now they evil. White Album of the game. Very low bottom right now. Not quite offsetting.
I mean, it's so difficult, right? The fact that you have an IO and you have a Faceless Void. These are both heroes that can kind of just negate the damage coming. Heal up quite a bit, and then you have the Time Walk. So, it's like it never even happened. White Album, though, also coming bottom. Looking at some of these stacks here. Time dilation off over on Hanska. You have FNG also rotating. We're going to see some big moves, I think, in this area fairly soon.
They get a kill.
Looking for the opening, looking for an arrow, perhaps. That's going, showing himself forward, throws out the avalanche, trying to get some information.
Dyer's top tower
Doesn't
is
amount
under
to a
attack.
whole heck of a lot, because in comes the Storm Spirit. Got a couple heroes over on the side, but they're not going to really be able to do much. Tech S4 should decide to go.
You gotta be careful, but the biggest issue is it's hard to execute.
Damage.
Maybe they'll arrow White Album.
Good. Limp is here, though. Follow up with the bugs. Leap with the Starstorm. That's going to be that White Album. And Borax now is forced to go. Click off those little bugs from
And
FNG.
popped his DD bottling.
Radiant must summon the
Cool, that ward
spirit
paid off
to
big
defend the
time.
top tower.
Spotted him, they made that gank. Obviously gonna doesn't work. Easy Siren. On this game, got some pretty good levels because there was off 5.5. Survivability against. Little disable, a nice arrow.
Make it happen. And they have their eyes on Lanham. They want to try to throw him off into the air.
Have slain a
But Ace
Radiant's
Courier that
innocent
dies with
child.
that Mortar Mask. Really important, but Borax also teleporting on in. Not enough damage as Lanham's able to run away. The Starzo comes in, they'll find the IO. It's looking like they're going to end up losing FNG to Monet, though, instead. And S4 now trying to run. They do have the Echo Spirit nearby. Go teleport home and then probably come right back to the Scrum. See, do they go back in again? Do they try to make more plays against
Is running out for Dire's middle tower.
Sentry to do that tells them that probably not spotted. That's sleeper.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Across the map, XXS. Most last hits in the head of Wraithing. But again, the nice thing is that a lot of, by the way, he's level 5. He's got 3 skill points waiting. But he's going to level up his ulti to get chronoed or something.
Maybe he's being allowed so much space right now because they've been putting so much effort into that bottom lane.
And the armlet being picked up on him is not a weird item on Wraith King, but the build has been kind of old for a while. This is the best one to
Stupendous.
increase his overall survivability. The nice thing, you are expecting to die and they have big team fight strong abilities. You want to increase your... That way the amount of damage it takes twice is removed. So I love the armlet a lot this game. Chronosphere.
They're baiting over here. They've got the Shades of Void jumping forward, gets the Chronosphere over onto, well, 2 actually. Why not? Just barely at the edge of it. FNG now trying to run, not going to be able to escape, and it looks like they're going to end up losing their other support here. The Tomskin does
Yeah, limp pitch out of that one. I mean, you got Sable set up and you just hit him with Flamethrower. Just not quite enough damage. Great bait. It's like, sorry guys, we're ready for that. Those moments. They keep just getting these. Yeah, that's a White Album really close up top, but almost dies in neutral. Kind of. It just looks.
I mean, the thing that I'm a little, I don't want to say concerned about, but I'm questioning is, again, Nico Baby has been allowed to just do whatever he wants here. He's been allowed to just farm in this top lane. And because of this, he's actually got a little bit of a net worth lead. Not, you know, insurmountable, but it's definitely something that you need to be aware of.
Right, loses it. He's also been able to hold all these skill points, not use them. He's got 5 in the bank.
Radiant structures
So
are
4 skill
fortified.
points.
Radiant must
Call
summon
this
the
a mistake
spirit
in the
to
business,
defend the top
but
tower.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's holding that many points.
I don't know. He's just
The Dire just
see the level up under like, oh, I'm saving that for reincarnation. It could also be like he wants to like feel out the game. Sometimes
Sure.
you're like, oh, we're farming, so you get a lot of points in Vampiric Spirit, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I really wish I would just had more Immortal Strike. But you can slip like 2 of those in there. Come on, you know, if
You have options. You can be a little bit stronger.
yes, you can farm faster if you have more Immortal Strike points. Cool down more damage. Certainly get some. It's okay. Still, net worth is solid. He's a great hero.
Radiant's
Makes some
middle tower is under attack.
for this one.
And look how, like, just powerful they're feeling over on
Dire's
the line.
bottom tower
They've
is
got
under
Limps Rump,
attack.
and so if he needs to, he can just jump right on over.
Go in.
Structures are
Going on over here on the side. White Album was not prepared for that.
Blink
Dire's
Dagger,
bottom
Tiny
tower
jumps
is
on
under
him,
attack.
Nice
gets the
reveal.
Avatos, and all that. Pressure's been great.
Reveal from S4 on. And this is, again, you know, a little bit of the problem is that once you use that Chronosphere, you just have to go back to farming. You're not really ready to put that damage out. You're not really, you know, you don't have the greatest things to even put in the Chronosphere on top of that. So
Radiant's middle tower
they are going to be
is
looking for these
under attack.
opportunities. Tiny is very
Radiant
much a determined
structures
hero.
are fortified. They must have
position.
seen dark clouds
Treads
on the
and daggers.
horizon.
Echo Saber afterwards, so you might not have as, but it's still going to be up there. It goes transition to an.
Chronosphere is back up on Monet, but they'll continue to push out this lane. But they have that global gank potential.
Got him now. back to the faces Void we saw a couple games. He had like
Cover your eyes.
no Mask of Madness, but he had like
He's
treads,
taking a
mount.
driving.
It's like when he's this is fast, guys. When he's that said, on the opposite side of the map, he's right king. Now he has spent it. Happy to say, ended up maxing out Vampiric Spirit. We Wraith King stop at about 3, but this will make his farm better when it's not in a lane. Long lane, that out.
I can't believe that FNG has just been allowed to continue to stay. Okay, they finally team him, I say it. I'm just like, man, he's been down here forever. XXS is deciding that he just wants his kill. He's had enough of this little bug in his lane. So down he goes.
Yeah, eventually that was going to happen. It did make sense though, because he's very different. So he hasn't really been playing 5 years. He's playing 4 effectively by just taking wave. But like, if that's any other support, you can't do that. You can't just stand up to it. He'll kill you easily, or at least out regen you. But Weaver just goes invis. Says like, all right, fine, use Scorched Earth. I'll reset. And it's like, you have to use Doom. And now they might get Monet bottomless. First, yep.
Now they go for LANM, just want to burst down the tiny inside. Not tiny. Oh, well, the Chronosphere though coming out. Monet, even without that IO, is going to be able to dish out a decent amount of damage. But the follow up here from Lip is not looking good for the Faceless Void. Nice terrorized play coming out. Able to push back just a little bit. Will protect for just long enough. And the follow up now from White Album. He wants his kill on Lip. They'll be able to find a 4-axe with that Deadlimp. Finding the opening. The toss up into the air though. S4 is trying to make something happen. XXS sitting very, very low. FNG, he's mad. He's trying to chase. Not going to be able to quite find it. Lip does go down. S4 next fall. But XXS and now White Album buying himself just a little bit more time. Nico Baby's got the final chop.
And he doesn't lose his ulti as a result. Like, Nico is probably getting that kill no matter what. But the fact that he didn't lose his ult there, pretty good for their fight. Rough one for Limp though. Jumps in, gets some damage out, but Sable after. Spooky House just has Brambles on it. Bramble into Terrorize, then he got hit by another one. Then he got pulled by Storm. He got pulled by Storm. Stuff him.
Radiant's bottom tower.
At least Nico Baby had a good fight, and now he's pulled away from his. If he gets Radiance, the fight's going to be a bit easier. A lot of right click. Chance for Void.
I mean, it's right now it's pretty neck and neck between the Faceless Void.
The direst elements are
But I think what's going to be spooky, like you said, is when he picks up that Radiance, and all of a sudden, Faceless Void, who, you know, he does have manners and items of things to be able to use to slow his farm. Nico Baby.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Radiant's mark for no fight attempt mid, yep, and they do an Avatos again on Storm Spirit with the arrow follow-up. Those kills are so big. The fact that
Dire's
S4
top tower
are
is
winning
under attack.
without a doubt, and that Handskin's there, ready to land the arrow in time. Not an easy disable to set up, but they're doing it.
The bottom lane here does have the Doom available. He's going to try to push them off of this tower. Lim making his way down that Borax over, sitting on the side. That's that Raise Fire Blast. It pops the BKB immediately. Moonlight Shadow comes out. FNG seems a little scared by this. Will back away. Like they only have sentries over on the Willow, but Alliance, they don't want to put their luck. They're just going to walk away.
Radiant's middle tower is under
taking
attack.
one as a
Beset on
result.
all sides by miscreants,
seconds.
evildoers, and other people
That's
that I don't even want to
pretty close
mention.
to Radiant's
Radiant's
top.
middle tower has fallen.
Important that he gets as fast as possible. Kill like 1 or 2. But Radiance is on hero when go take the fight. Much higher chance of success. And he's got level 2 rank. So also even if he does die, we have to hold on the next. Very good moment here. Alliance, and yep, Radiance.
Radiant's
Don't want to
bottom
touch these
tower
bottom
is
tier
under
2.
attack.
It's just not very safe. But for Weaver, he just doesn't care. He knows it's going to take a lot of disables. Take a Doom or a Dark Willow combo, or an Orchid, or a Chronosphere. They don't have Orchid yet, so everything else is like a lot of resource. He's getting way more farm than he's getting in a game. That would normally partially eat up by a core, but he can do waves. Probably die here, I think.
Call for the follow-up with that Terrorize. Looking like dead FNG, but you know what? I think they're okay with that because Nico Baby was wandering over. That could have been way worse for the side of Alliance.
That's pretty good pull to guarantee Terrorize, so they spend the week. terrorize is bad, but hey, hold on the map.
And also starts. Because that's an interesting, you know, fact that the most capable hero and able to just flip pushing is a Weaver, who is surprisingly squishy. Not like, you know, one of the bigger, tankier boys, but it still requires such finesse.
Nico's showing bottom actually. Hidden. They don't know exactly where he.
I don't think they're. Because Lim's also right over there. He had that one run. Okay, they're gonna try to make a play on Nico, baby. But Lim immediately following up. There you go. They drop the Sugiyama. It's wide out, but he will fall. All right, there it is. Follow up here from Monet. He does have the Chronosphere. They're gonna hold on to it because they want to wait here. They do get a couple missed chances. Rooted to plays over Monet. The arrow though coming in from Haskins. This is not looking good for Monet. He can't get up fast enough. The IO relocates, but it isn't going to be able to save that faceless void. FNG now on the hunt here with Limp. XXS stalking away to try anything here, but Borax hiding over in the tree line.
Is under
That was
attack.
so.
Whether
It looked pretty bad for Nico, baby. They killed him pretty quick during the afterwards, but they were ready with that arrow. If that arrow does not land, Chrono comes out. Nico, baby, probably dies the second time, most likely. They kill Storm, relocate gets wasted, trying to save the Void as well. Just everything basically perfect for Alliance. The only thing that could have gone better is if Chrono hits 0 heroes. So they've still got it. Aster can come back and try to use that for a kill, but Alliance knows the gold advantage.
Oh, they found FNG though. The drag back with the Orchid should be able to get his final hit off from point.
Now that's a tough lesson for FNG. Well, I really can't play big gold. 442. Tough. That's going to push him a little faster.
Hop over on course. They're aware that other heroes might be in the... Will, of course, just back off, go to their triangle, continue to farm up.
Pawn skin and areas to do. Arrow is the... Go baby, just going to really fish on. Back to this tri-camp. Skeletons. Bot lane. This is a moment to maybe get a support pickoff. Also mega farm. They're unequal. Almost bought Blink Dagger, but ends up getting.
Dire's top tower
Alright,
is
let's
under
get
attack.
a little bit more greedy. Wait for a moment.
Party it up, bucko. Dire's top
Still
tower
almost up.
has fallen.
Alliance positioning themselves over here on the high ground, throwing S4 right in front. They decide to make any rotate. They can. No one's around, so FNG like it's possibly.
Time is money.
Time is running out
Here's
for
himself
Dire's
with the whip.
top
Does have
tower.
the blink dagger. There's many here. Look at this. He's like, nope, absolutely not. Bye bye.
First sight of it, he's like. Gets out. That was really. I thought he was dead.
That
for
was
sure,
so
but
fast. That the reflex time there.
He
Absolutely
just-
wonderful.
It basically came down to Forax. He put his Halloween decorations up.
Yeah.
You know, so Wake's gonna take.
Never refuse gold given.
My birthday.
I like your birth.
Okay, that's fair. All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. We take it.
Flames will
Smoke though
spread
over on the
thrice.
side of Aster. Looking for a Chronosphere. Has a BKB. Masked Man
Radiant's
is in
top
the Maelstrom.
tower is under attack.
Looking to see if anyone's home. He is effectively
Get sniped, courier.
Radiant's
There it
courier
is.
has been slain.
Have an idea that they are
Radiant's
over
top
there.
tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
going- Yeah, up that dude.
The Dire just can't resist attacking
Okay.
Radiant's top tower.
It's the same day every year. You know when it's. Come on.
Well, they no, they're not able to get the teleport out in time here. It looks like they're only going to end up losing the Marana, but a lot of just walking around coming out from
Against
Aster.
all comers.
Well, agreed now. He's like, screw it. AC it is. We're not fighting. It'll be great. The extra armor.
Double damage.
But it is time to place Ravi in a blink. Possibly very nice. That said, his HP estimated. And they approach it though with no Piranha. They pop the smoke and they're going. They got lots of time here. Let's see if they can get the angle.
They do have a double damager and they have the Chronosphere. Smoke will break. They'll slide forward. They've got the Dark Willow. They're going to try to. They're not going to be able to do it quite fast as in Shadow Realm, but eventually going to burn. Nico baby getting bashed a couple times. The BKB is okay. He's gonna go right back up again now with this reincarnation. Chronosphere comes out though over on 3 as they zip forward. IO getting stuck with Eco Baby. He is dead. He is not gonna participate in this fight. S4 trying to get enough damage out. Not quite enough though. He's able to time walk out. Sean wandering out. We'll spend a little time in the spooky house as well, but
in the end, not the worst. They killed Nico Baby, but they did make Astra feel like they can't. That's all they got. It cost them BKB to kill Rating the first time, because otherwise he would have been, I think, maybe the biggest mistake.
Trying to zip forward immediately. The follow-up though from S4. He was so ready. He just immediately gets rid of White out from S4. He's going to pay for this, but they take down Storm Spirit and they buy back immediately. They do not want to let them have this Rotron.
I'm totally down to sacrifice my tiny 3 as buyback for guaranteeing they don't absolutely. Once they get up there with Wraith King, his ulti's back. They don't have Chrono. We got Doom, but for Alliance, they really executed well so
They're
far.
still going in though.
Oh, that's greedy.
They're going very, very greedy here. Immediately, they throw out the Cursed Crown. Forward, Monet not getting as much of that resurgence as he would like. They're nervous. Arrow toss to the pit will land over onto Roche. Nico Baby's joined back in.
He's going right in, I'm sure.
You're gonna have Storm Spirit up in about 4 seconds. Again, though, they do not have the Chronosphere. That is very, very, very scary. You've got a lot of AoE stun coming out too. 2 seconds on the crown. The BKB comes out. They'll get the up over onto S4. So he's just gonna try to stand there and fight. Terrorize comes out as well. Limp with the BKB. Do something. Monet there. They get the kill on S4. He bought back. There it is. The Limp grabbing up that Aegis of the Immortal will force Aster to run away from this pit. Borax potentially may fall here. Limp hot on his heels, looking for the opening. There it is. They'll be able to get enough damage off on the Dark Willow.
All right, they make it work. Good time. I need to die back basically. Fight is semi-1 anyways. They didn't have to get Aegis on Wraith King. I thought, you know, whoever's in there spam clicking for sure.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
There's a chance it could have gone on Wraith King, but it ends up on Limp. That's the
still
perfect
good.
target. Yeah,
Still
that's
good.
great for Alliance. But the game's still very close. Like, Monet is showing clearly how difficult he
Radiant's
got
middle tower
BKB.
is under attack.
Backed up by an IO. He's got lots of survivability. Play once what happened. Great Doom on S4. He finally didn't get that good initiation, but with Limp there hitting the back line, it basically forced the Force to be by themselves. And when they clump on in, they're able to grab it on Limp. I don't even see him in there. Did he like a fist grab Aegis or something? I'm not sure, but he was able to get it. Quick fingers.
Here is back up. Monet and White Album reconvening over on the side.
Yeah, sitting in place right now. Scott is at about 1,000 gold away. And once they get that's like a Doom counter. Well, typically it does last a very long time, 60 seconds. If you can offset like plus 6 or 8 more seconds of damage, a lot of times you can, except for the fact that you're like away and then he time lapses you back. That part not so good, but very effective.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Already got the extra life with Nick Baby here. It's gonna be a war of who survives the longest. Of course, it's like most wars. I heard it after I said it.
Blink up for Nico Baby, picks up as well, so he's gonna XSS right now. They're gonna
Going in on XSS. Limp following up has the Remnant. They need to be able to go and just cancel out the TP, and it doesn't look like they have it, so he's poured on out.
literally cannot believe the chat line was.
Yeah, this has been a very, very measured and mannered time.
These guys are focused.
Wait, man, they need this.
Radiant must summon the spirit to defend their top tower.
They're going to be able to put some pressure over on the tower. They use Specification on the side of Aster.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Skellies are going to do. Oh, right now. No, they're actually under great time. Here. Cross map, great vision. Lift forward them. Live, die of old age and fun.
But it was a great ward that lived a nice long time. K-Tune is available bottom. Albums would go and immediately snap it up. They're gonna go for a chase, yeah.
super running.
Turn around the side. They'll find Borax. Able to dodge away here. Okay, making his way over. Again, he does have the Chronosphere. Exocet finding the opening over onto Nico Baby. Immediately going to dilate, followed up with an arrow. It's a little scary here now for Nico Baby, but he's right back around. Again, that time lapse coming through. Drag off over to the side. The Doom is used over onto Limp, but he doesn't really care that much. SS4 is looking for the opening. They do manage to drop that sentry board earlier. So he's going to go in hoping for a toss back. Not going to be able to quite find it. So that's pretty successful when you consider the fact that they used the Doom on Limp. They did not end up getting killed, and the Dark Wolf still ended up falling.
Yeah, the time lapse helped a lot there. But he was basically out of position. Jumps forward. He doesn't land the stun in Borax. He did his best, but Borax is pain. And then he's getting low. His first ult, he's going to pop it, and that's a dangerous moment. They don't use a lot of resources to kill Nico Baby the first time. The Alliance is going to have a bad one. But he just gets time lapse. He went from like 30 HP down to 100, back to 100. So he's got like 3 lives basically. If Epic used well position, the fact that they didn't even get a kill either was like, oh my god, run Aster. Not going to go well. They still got the chrono at least. But you can see how powerful, like, if you guys watched the Void Invoker combo earlier with the Cataclysm, it's incredible how much stronger it is there, right? Because it's like, all you got to do is land the Chronosphere and you're going to have a good time. But here, not the case. It's a lot harder to find the right team play.
I would say that the positioning coming out from Alliance is superb as well. You know, we talked about the fact that he has to be very careful. He needs to be there with that AgSep time lapse. And he needs to be positioned in a manner that he's not going to get crushed. Not going to be the target.
Just can't resist.
The counter not that huge.
Has fallen.
Certainly be caught in close. Most of the fight, you just want to sit at the back or stick your game close, that kind of thing.
Oh, S4, he wanted that avalanche. Not quite managed to get it though.
He's got the spider legs. Moving around the fight is going to be straightforward. On FNG. Wasn't set either. That time lapse.
No, he's going for the ceremonial right back.
Better for his team. The one rare game where Paladin Sword. He's already got 34% life steal. He's really neat.
I mean, he could if he wants, but there are better things. Like you said. I love this position out of Alliance. You've got S4 who's constantly just throwing his face very, very forward. FNG sitting a little bit further back. You can see these roles are very defined in the way that they play.
Yep. It's good to pick your... so that everybody... just slight alteration. Nico Baby does best when he's in...
Radiant's middle tower is under
He knows how to play aggressive and to go in. Feels a bit a lot harder.
Yeah, there are some of those cores that, you know, to get a little bit behind, like Ector, right over on B. Still manages to always find the farm. Doesn't always find the victory, but Nico Baby unfortunately does have some difficulty with that.
Great position right now.
Goes in. Back, jumping on into White Album, but the arrow down goes White Album.
The perfect bash there. The stun ends. He gets the bash afterwards. Basically, Storm can't get out, and he lands a delayed arrow, but it hits and guarantees a Storm kill. No BKB. There's a Dark Willow there too. Also died. That was just S4 eating support as you do on Tiny, but the barracks is just open all of a sudden. They didn't even have to fight for it really. They just got the pick.
Just that one pick was able to make quite a few things happen. Nico, knowing that the rest of his team should be able to go and handle the bottom tower and racks, just makes this rotation immediately towards the mid lane.
Wow, what a pick off.
Monet and Lanam here.
Radiant's middle barracks are
Get the basics of the fight.
They're pretty closely together here. They'll go for the greens. Monet getting into position. No, he doesn't want to go for it.
They got the melee barracks, they're good. 2 racks off of that pick off, and then both of them getting snagged up the seats. They even sentryed for it. They're like, oh man, he just like jumped up, but probably had the vision. Blink stun, nailed him. Got the back.
Also the respect too, I think, back that White Album is coming back up. They go for the fake back. They find Monet, blink forward immediately, double damage. They've got so much arrow coming in. Not quite enough though, as they got the BKB Lana. There it is. There's the Chrono Chronosphere, and this Monet, he's trying to hit as much as he can over here on the lip, but this is not quite enough as they get the time lapse, so they find FNG has already hit his body at this point. Not even sure if it's worth it now. They focus him down. Down will go FNG. Hanskin now running for his life. They've lost Monum, they've lost Borax. Nico maybe looking for anyone he can hit as Monet is chasing after Hanskin. Limp following up. They want this Void. The arrow. Starstorm. It's a triple kill now for Nico, baby.
That is the Guardian Greaves aura, the AC aura, making Limp have like way more armor than he's supposed to. He doesn't even have an armor item, but dude took no damage during that Chronosphere.
They called it GG. They realize they do not have the Void here.
They just S4 on this game, honestly. Like, that's what it felt like to me. Everybody played really good, but S4, he just got so many pickoffs in the mid game that it just like set everybody, all of Aster's tempo potential behind the Storm Spirit was. Like if he just had
15 evasion talent and also Dragonland.
To a team fight with no Ravage.
Yeah.
And it's just a tough spot for T1. Sumail is enormous. He is Silver Edge with Shard queued up. He's like 2 minutes away, can't even buy it yet. But that's what's next in his progression. That's how far ahead.
What did you expect? What did you expect? Did you expect? What did you expect?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Oh, cover your eyes. Dire's bottom tower is taking a drubbing. Storm doors in place. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dominating!
Flesh sustains, gold twist you.
Radiant, Roshan has given his all for you. Use it wisely. Has fallen.
What did you expect?
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Not my fault. Time is running out for Dire's middle tower. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
What did you expect?
Dire's bottom barracks have fallen.
You can't be here.
What a debacle.
Really good against Drow.
Exactly. That would have been a great choice.
Game 1, a little one-sided there. OG just kind of dominating the entire game. T1 had an idea, didn't pull through. Maybe they forgot about the Tinker. I don't know. And you seem very convinced that it was super obvious.
I mean, to me, it feels like if you see DeatStalker in this patch, you have to think Tinker. You have to be aware of the option.
Okay.
And for me, I'm fairly convinced they just did not expect Topson to play Tinker.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious to Insania. And that's the thing. Is
he's got a very big brain.
Exactly. There's maybe 3 or 4 players who could have seen it coming. Luckily, 2 of them are here at the casting desk, so we were able to guide you through it. But, you know, not every player is quite so
Wait, who's the last player? You said 3 or...
T1.
Certainly.
I think Puppy would have seen it come.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's
the 4 of us. Me, Kyle, Puppy, and...
That's true. I mean, that is the Mount Rushmore of Dota right there. Honestly, when I think about it, you know. Aiden, which one would you be? Which American president?
Know what Mount Rushmore
I know.
I know what Mount Rushmore is. I'd be George Washington.
Okay. Can you name any of the
I don't know any others.
Perfect. All right. I'm hoping T1. Like,
hell yeah.
I was setting this up, and I was like, I was imagining these guys just 5-man brawling against each other.
Now, this is where I can shine. Hero is my sleeper pick for TI. Okay?
Kyle, they're not playing it mid.
It doesn't have to be mid. It's an offlaner or it's a support. It's one of the best shards. I love it as an offlane because you can buy literally anything. I vote Mage Slayer. You go Dragonlance, Mage Slayer, and you just rain down liquid fires and reduce everybody's magical damage. Unfortunately, this pick from OG is flawless. They love playing with the cleanse. Oracle sucks. LC, fantastic. This removes Root, Leech Seed, Ice Path, all of those things.
I'm so confused why they drafted double heroes that are super affected by the cleanse mechanic of Legion Commander when they just got handled by Legion Commander.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but Treant has had a really high win rate today. I think almost every single game that I've seen today specifically has looked really... It feels like it's hard to teamfight into, and I think T1 played it against VP.
And that was their 33-minute victory. So I think that their concept with this is pick something. They stacked it with the Spectre, which is obviously dispersion damage is reductions, and then you just take no damage because of all the stacking and heal. Also a great laner, and I believe they also play it in the off lane more often than not, which is safe. Hero, I hope they end up in a lane against. Kind of just have to dodge the LC, no matter what role this Jakiro. That's a very annoying lane. Just gonna trade mana for his mana.
Yeah, so this is something I realized when I was playing a lot of Destruction a while back in Legion Commander.
5 seconds
but
remaining.
I can spend all my gold on mana. You can buy 12 mangoes, and you just keep spamming him, and he just has to keep purging himself. And then eventually, if he doesn't get to Soul Ring within the first couple of purges, then you have a pretty nice time in lane against them.
So I agree with you, but this is gonna be no Tails Hero. He does everything. Now he's just buying 12 mangoes back.
Exactly. So if they get that situation going, and this is the strength of Legion Commander over some hero. You don't really see Oracle being flexed. I think if anyone would, maybe Topson would play it mid, but I don't think he is going to. So this Legion Commander gives OG this really nice flexibility. They can run it on Seb. They can run it on No Tail. I could imagine them running it on Topson. It doesn't seem unlikely to me.
Well, it just checks a lot of boxes. You know, think about what goes into a draft, like stuns and damage and tower push and yada yada yada. LC gives you 2 things that are very tough to find, which is hard BKB piercing lockdown and a defensive dispel that with the new shard also gives you the BKB mechanic, plus it's an attack speed steroid. So also a great laner. You're just covering all these bases with just this one pick, plus of course being multi-role in the hands of OG is incredibly impactful. This is their TI drafting in a nutshell. Like their opening picks, most cases, and it is here, both heroes can be played as supports or cores. This is the Enchantress Earthshaker of TI9.
I think this has been every team that has done well in the early stages of the group have been really good about making sure that pick
10 seconds remaining.
And I think this is a consequence of the way the draft changed, pick order. Second pick suddenly has 2 counter picks. That basically forces you as first pick to pick a flexible hero to adapt to that.
Now, during the break, we were actually talking a little bit, and you were talking about how a lot of the top-tier teams, they have very open playstyles where they're able to do every single kind of strategy at a very high level. They can play slow. They can play super objective. T1, where would you rate them when it comes to playstyle versatility? Because I feel like I've seen the same kind of heroes, certainly the same heroes over and over again. And I feel like kind of the same strategies of a lot of team fight, but also scaling. Like, where do you rate T1 as have a decent amount of versatility? Where would you put them?
I think T1 is a little bit more one-track minded.
Yeah.
Where they will be very, very good at executing their style of draft. I think we saw it in like the VP that if you put them up against a team that both teams just want to, and you gotta fight to win the game, they're gonna be really, really good. They're gonna be mechanically better, most teams here, at playing those fights out. But I think a team like OG, what they've been really smart about during this event is just keep playing mismatched timings. If the enemy team is drafting something really, really slow, they'll play something very fast.
Yeah.
And
I was just gonna say, I'm sure it's a lot like different MMA. You have two brawlers, two guys that want to go up and beat up on each other. T1's going to thrive. They love that. OG, they're grapplers. They don't want to stand up against you. They're going to take you to the ground. You're not really able to play to your strengths. You're not hitting anybody. You're just trying to get out of the pin. In this case, T1, they do certainly have a reliance on big team fighters. We saw that at the anime a lot on Magnus and Wyvern specifically. Now they're sticking to that, with a Tide support at Doom offlane. They're just, with Phoenix, like 4 of their heroes are just huge ultimate team fight, and then a Medusa. OG, they have no intention of ever team fighting you. Have a massive advantage, or a couple heroes picked off already, just controlling vision. And this is probably my favorite hero to watch OG play, the Ember Spirit. Excellent against Jakiro Tree.
And now you have the Rubik for the instant to save. But now they have, if you look at their stuns, like almost all of these stuns, Storm cannot easily dodge them, or he has to keep them all in mind while he's playing. I've actually not loved Rubik so much in most games, but I do think, and I noticed this when he played this, that when you pick it as a late pick and a counter pick, so like for example Jakiro, and the root is very easy to steal, so is the ice path. Even if you steal dual breath, I feel like it damage.
So good. Yeah,
and you have the cast range to effectively use. And the big mana.
The hero, playing Jakiro, I think this, I think even more so than Earth. Jakiro is hard countered by Rubik.
I don't know so much about it being countered. Like Jakiro still is Jakiro, but I think Rubik becomes a better hero when he's playing against Jakiro.
Yeah, like I get literal phrase. I think it's the best hero to play against is Rubik. Because even if you steal Macropyre with the damage increase, that is an absurd amount of DPS.
So I've played a fair amount of Rubik. I played like roughly 1,000 games of it. By far my most played hero. Yeah. And something that I always look for in looking for a good Rubik game, I want to make sure that I have a farming tool. I think that's why, like, for example, Earthshaker is good, but Fissure's not really a spell you want to farm with. You can't use it to push out waves. But Jakiro here gives him a way to do that. Treant gives him a way to do that with the root. You don't really want to steal troll spells because you're gonna end up turning into melee form. And then Storm's like whatever. You can steal his pull, which is actually surprisingly not bad when you get the extra cast range and you can pull people forever. Very nice. So overall, it's a pretty good Rubik game, and I think the nice thing about it too is that he has a lot of frontline. A lot of heroes here want to go in. He's not really going to be a priority target, and he doesn't have to use his lift to initiate, which I think is a pretty big
It also is really nice when you have 3 going in.
Yeah.
Because suddenly you're going to be in a position as T1 where you have to use your spells to react. Like there's an Ember, a Monkey King, LC, like reminds me of True Sight, that they're bouncing the trees, firing forward. So you're going to have to throw out these spells, and Rubik is going to casually just grab something high value.
Yeah, they're going to be overwhelmed with all the other stuff going on, so he will get good spells here. And Sox is actually a very good Rubik. I don't know if he gets a very, very good Rubik.
I think that's, you're talking about the fact that Mr. Rubik has these heroes that are going to go in for him. So I feel like initiation is kind of important. And I've noticed this trend that is going on at TI right now, where we're seeing like Weavers run as 4 positions. We've seen like how heroes like Legion Commander are just kind of playing in front of the enemy. As you were saying, like you called it like No Tail was playing where the enemy kind of like wants to be. He just Monkey King 4 position, really great example of like this support that gives vision. I feel like OG have that vision advantage, which first 2 picked. I'm pretty sure Monkey King is going to be core and Legion the support, but it could be the other round.
It could be literally anything here. Like it could be played by Thompson. Could have this Legion Rubik lane is really strong. It could be a mid Ember one with a Legion 5. Like, they have a lot of different options here. They could run the Monkey 4. I mean, No-Tail also plays Rubik. Topstone plays Rubik mid if they want to. Like, when I look at this draft, I'm like, if you couldn't put... Because here you kind of got to... What you got to do as T1 is you got to go by probability. Like, based on the heroes that we have, what matchups do we think OG wants? And that's how you kind of figure out which hero is going to go. And in OG's position here, like, they just have the option of picking pretty much whatever based on what they want to do.
Oh, I love it. I've been waiting for somebody to pick Slark. It has all the things. Like, I've always loved Slark Ember as a combination just because you have so much in and out pressure and map control.
Yeah.
Have a cleanse, which I think is key. Same reason I've always loved Oracle Slark, because if you can just save him for that split second, you're now in a great position. Ultimate off. The shard is OP. Another reason. And you're against a troll. So those axes for mischance are dispellable.
Yeah.
Slark's going to be spamming Q. It's also incredible against the Treant, Hero. All of the spells of T1 are removable. It used to be Storm was incredible against Slark, but now the Pounce that leashes actually makes you more of an offensive threat to the hero.
Yeah, so you touched on the Purge effect, or the Cleanse effect.
Supposedly I'm wrong, but I always think like it's a dispel.
Kyle, you are never wrong.
I mean, cleanse isn't an actual term in Dota. It just happens to be a nice term that I find.
You're never wrong, Kyle. Don't listen to Twitch.
Thank you.
Anyways, Slark is weak to getting initiated on, right? The whole trick is you catch him when he's not ready for it. And when you have a hero like Legion, you have a Cleanse draft, that option is suddenly gone. You no longer want to initiate on him because see the Legion commander, the Slark is always going to get. And I think this Venge again is like, it's a little bit of a weird last pick. It doesn't address the problems that they have. But I do think Vengeful Spirit's a strong hero, and it kind of has a rating effect where it spawns again. And I would assume the illusion does not give stack. It's it.
Correct.
So like, if it's very small, it doesn't actually, like, gameplay-wise, doesn't really matter. But I think Venge is pretty cool.
It is hard save, after all, but I was actually thinking maybe they'd go for something like a Bloodseeker. Like, I feel like we have the same scenario as we did in the first game, where OG, they last pick the win condition, and T1 has an answer. They go for the mag. Whereas this case, you go for the Venge. Like, this doesn't answer Slark.
I think this game they can fight, though. Like, if OG runs at them, they have the ability to fight back. They have damage, they have spells that are usable to get kills. Like, I think whilst killing Slark is going to be... killing the other four is not necessarily the case. They have a troll lane against Monkey King. See how that goes. Monkey Rubik against, I assume... Oh, actually, never mind. Hero 4, right?
Well, specifically with these two, they can play it either way.
Okay,
like they're
so
very comfortable in being able to swap lanes. So which would you rather have the Jakiro as a ranged hero against Monkey King?
So something OG can do that's really cool is they can put Legion Commander with the Monkey off lane, and then Slark in the safe lane where they have two purges, so Jakiro no longer has a good lane.
I think that's the key, and this is why I believe Kel is playing the LC here, because to Aiden's point earlier, as a core LC against this Jakiro spamming mangoes and harassing you, at a point you like run out of mana. You're trading new gen, which is not what you want to do as a core against a support. But as a 5 position, No-Tail is very content. Just, you know, you trade better than Jakiro. You're going to run at him, you're going to spam Q, spam W. Your core in the game. So I think wherever Jakiro goes, find No-Tail in that.
Looking good.
I could see them laning it either way. Like, Rubik Slark also feels a bit weird. And I generally think Slark, because of the way his hero works, he wants to run up and trade with you. Having some sort of sustain that allows you to use Essence Shift is quite important for his laning phase. So,
and one that gives you extra attack speed too. That sounds pretty sick.
Bad. Yeah, not too bad.
Point as well. It's another LC. It's just such a great hero.
Specifically with the heroes being run right now.
Yes.
Tiny. Okay, if they're going to do Slark, that's really good.
Yeah.
Sven has been popular right now.
Precisely.
That's another one.
You talking to me?
Did you happen to see our last series? Secret versus SG.
I caught bits and pieces.
Did you see the that was the best Ogre Magi Fire Shield I've ever seen in my life.
No, I don't.
Because, I mean, have you experimented with
I've
Fire Shield?
Ogre.
It doesn't really feel like that amazing, right?
I actually think it feels pretty good most of the time. Yeah.
All right. Well, my experience has not been like amazing, but they were specifically played up against Sven Io, Earthshaker Core, Chant Totem,
Told you a
and Mars.
storm was coming.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
God damn.
You're reducing a lot of damage.
It was pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
And now I just, you know, like, I always think that I love support experimentation.
Yeah. I think this whole Legion 5, right, it started with Puppy at Hamburg a couple of years back.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
And I think it was a pretty interesting interview that they asked him, like, why are you playing 5? And he just answered, well, all the 5s are just bad. And why not play a core? And I think opened up this idea of, like, a lot more heroes.
I think, yeah, exactly. And you also just don't have to spend as much gold, right? Buy a sentry. Everything else can be spent on yourself. And else, like, they're really, the support role has kind of changed to just farm creep. But it comes down to what's the best kit. Like, what gives my allies the most support within a game. And LC just, you know, BKB lockdown is really tough to come by. I also wanted to touch on OG's final bans. I thought were really... Don't like the Venge as much as perhaps the Darkseer or Enigma, which were banned out. Because T1, they didn't have that big AoE ultimate finisher. And that's also, of course, to cover the Slark that's coming. An Enigma pick would have actually been real nice, even with...
Yes, I think it's very similar to how Rubik and Jakiro interact. It makes Rubik's game better, but it doesn't necessarily counter Enigma's game. Enigma still does what Enigma wants to do. So, whether Rubik is there or not, it doesn't really change anything for that matter. But, like, whether you should pick it or you can't.
Now, for anybody who's tuning in and maybe doesn't watch a ton of Dota, can you guys break down very simply what are the strengths of T1's lineup and what are they looking for compared to OG?
Okay, so I think T1, in order to win this game, they need to do well in the lanes, and then they need to use the advantage they get in lanes, stop OG from running at them. Because OG is going to hit a timing similar to the last game, where T1 is trying to farm the Vengeful Ags, they're trying to get Storm's items, and they're trying to farm up the Troll, and they need to play kind of like response Dota. And when you end up in that position against OG, I think you generally will struggle. But if you can apply pressure to OG and force OG to fight on your terms, I think that's where they might struggle a bit in this particular game.
Especially a Storm who's ahead, like straight up take over the game. I like this start though. They're looking to try lane. I think this is a great answer to both an LC support and a Slark. Slark needs levels. You want to trade. You can't do that in a 3-on-3. Just straight up spam with spells.
So they're trying to push in the first wave here to get lane control. If you look at 23 Savage, he's trying to drag the creeps up to connect to the next lane.
Perfect.
Which will make the Train Protector all the more effective.
Yeah.
It's going to be able to cut off people, get a good Nature's Grasp in. And that just depends on Cuckoo having an okay time, which we saw, like, the Faith Beyond, they would do this all the time on LGD when they were running the offlane Venge. They would just kind of throw him to the wolves at the beginning.
Yeah. I think Slark is actually a pretty good hero against most tri-lanes though, especially tri-lanes that don't kill. Because you're going to get a lot of farm. Once you hit level 2 or 3, you're very hard to go on. So as long as you have sustain for the Slark, I think he's going to be able to get quite a lot of CS here in the bottom lane anyway.
Yeah, unfortunately, they control the lane, but they've given up level 2. The one benefit of No-Tail as well, the Q provides easy ways of just...
Yeah.
Oh, and they forced the TP from Saksa, and now they just Jakiro back up top, but no lane control there either. Kind of an odd movement from T1, to be honest, but yeah,
I like it. I think it's good. I think that they're throwing off the laning phase. They're not letting it just play out the way OG wants it to. And I think they're making the game weird, which throws off timings, and it gives Storm space mid. And I think they want to play off of the fact that Storm beats Ember in the lane mid, and he's able to get control runes and apply pressure.
That was really cool, because when they did that rotation, it was also just perfectly timed for Whitemon to get a hard camp pull.
Yeah.
So he immediately gets creepy equilibrium, which was what, Kyle, you said that was kind of a problem. Now they're going to put some pressure onto Seb, where he was probably wondering, where the hell is my creep wave? And he meets Whitemon, who's now in lane, and they're going to move No-Tail over.
Yep. Follows Jakiro.
Yeah, so now suddenly they have a Troll Treant against Slark Rubik, which is a good lane matchup for them. I think what T1 are doing right now is actually very, very intelligent. They're making OG, like, respond to the way they want to play the game. And now, instead of OG applying pressure to them, they're dictating how this game goes.
It's such a cool idea, that the fact that they can... That starting off with an aggro tri-lane resulted in this. That basically OG, they knew they were going to respond in a certain way that they would be able to get an advantage.
I think they probably talked about this as soon as the draft ended. We go tri-lane. If Rubik comes bottom, I go top. We pressure like this. This way we get like our mid laner to come online, and they have like it really feels like they're playing with an idea. And I always like seeing that when you see these teams, like for example we said OG, right? They have a lot of different strats. But if T1 feels like they know what they're doing, they might just be the stronger team.
Yeah, again, I was super excited for this matchup because I thought like these were going to be two titans of team fight just smashing against each other. Might be able to get that in this game too.
I think like we did our best to pretend like that last game was close in anybody's game, but realistically, once it was that 15-minute nighttime and OG had total control, like T1 just can't play Dota. This is a very different type of game, and I think we're going to see a much closer one.
Yeah, absolutely. In the first game, I didn't really understand their last pick either, but this time, now that I see the way they've set up their lanes, the way they're trying to approach the game, I think it makes sense to pick this one. Venge is like a pretty good hero for this type of playstyle, where they have 3 lanes that they can kill. They have initiation on all 3 lanes. You have Troll with the slow, you have Venge with the stun, and you have Storm with the pull. So they have the option of like making moves on all the lanes.
he knows he's gonna go for the slight steal, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's and
wow.
he's gonna go get the double bounty or the double
Beautiful.
water room. That is very smart by Carl. Let's see if he actually wins through this. There's a flame guard pulling him back in. He's gonna be able to take out the if he runs into the second remnant, it'll go away. Oh, we missed out on first blood as a result, but this fight is so fun.
Oh man, that was like a what's the Eastwood movie at the standoff?
Sumail keeps on going. They actually trade supports, but Sumail has racked up some serious stats. Is going to be able to get the double kill in this lane. So T1 may have gotten the lanes that they thought they wanted, but ultimately lost that bottom one.
Oh, he had 20 stick too, so he's just full HP flying out. That was so cool. They just sat there for 3 seconds.
That was just like both of the players know exactly what's going to happen, and they're like trying to throw off each other. That was beautifully played.
Yeah, and then the fight for top rune where Carl like, man, so good. If either player blinks, they probably get the kill, maybe straight up win the lane, but nobody did.
Bringing 23 Savage to the top lane. Looks like they no longer want to play out this bottom one with Sumail getting so big. They're going to try and run down Seb. Seb nicely positions himself to be able to get multiple stuns. They managed to hit him a couple times. He's still bleeding out on damage, but the dual breath didn't hit him, so they have to get a little bit more. Finally, they get the magic missile, and that'll finish him off.
That was just like he mischief dodged the auto attack. That would have, you saw him start the animation of jumping into tree, but got hit just before. That was pretty
That was
nice.
Extremely close. I genuinely thought he was going to get up.
I mean, Seb, still impressing. You know, one eye, boomer fingers. He still got it.
They had top 3 net worth there for a moment, so definitely feeling good about their laning phase.
Yeah, I think despite what T1 did in the early game, it seems like all the OG cores are managing quite fine, and I think these kills bottom really bumped Sumail up.
Oh, hey, Soxa. It's me, Carl. I've got a double damage rune. 3rd kill for T1.
Would have preferred if they let Carl grab it. I think Coop got a little, he just stop cancel the attack he had originally. But your trouble is that, you know, this Slark is having a free game. He's now level 6, so he's effectively always on map. And Sumail is the win condition, right? That's the hero we're concerned about T1 finding an answer to.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean,
he's gonna jump after him. Thompson, he's got that remnant left. The damage throw was not enough, and Carl got the last hit there with the DD. Very nice. These two playing up against each other mid is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they're both very, very important for their respective teams. I think the T1 absolutely needs Carl to come online, and then I think they need to control the runes for him. This DD rune is what effectively gets on this kill mid, and whoever gets the 8-minute rune is going to have a pretty big advantage.
I want to point out something I think that is pretty cool. Remember when they were top lane, the troll TP top, they went for that kill on Seb, got it. The Venge and the Tree walked all the way to bottom lane to keep their TPs up.
Yeah.
So if OG tries to get aggressive, they can still respond.
Yeah, I think they learned from the first game, right? They want to be able to play pace. They want to be able to match whatever OG does.
Yeah. Still not dealing with Sumail, who currently has 4,000 net worth, when the second highest is still Thompson at 3. They're going to rotate into Stormshear, though. Carl trying to look for a big win here in the top lane, and this pace is going to net them probably 2 kills here as both the supports on OG will fall.
Yeah, this does, however, mean that Ember gets a free rune, so let's see what he can do with that response.
See, everybody's beelining for them. Top's going to get controlled by OG. Of all the runes, man.
Comes the response move.
Carl, he's not afraid, even with Thompson here. He says, okay, probably don't have chains. Not really in much danger here. Thompson gonna make use of that arcane rune to make sure he's gonna survive here. Seb gonna receive a helping hand here, but of a purge, dealing with that Jakiro, which is going to be a constant problem for him. Zephyr is going to be run down by the Ember Spirit.
That's your best.
Knows the radius of this remnant very well. Like he's just dancing around it like it's a landmine. Gonna grab a quick stack. And the nice thing about this though for OG is that their carry is completely protected.
Has Sumail played against heroes during this entire series when he didn't want to?
Yeah, seriously.
I feel like he's just been hitting creeps. Yeah, the OG's doing a great job of moving attention away from their carry.
I mean, we've criticized him, right, for not using his minimap in this game.
He doesn't need to, that's why.
Who cares what's happening?
Yeah,
if we go to player perspective, it's what Cap's looking at right here, bottom lane.
Yeah, if your team plays the way OG does, you genuinely don't need a minimap as a carry player.
Yeah, those are called inside jokes, guys. You got to give context to the viewer. We say we've criticized them. You didn't say it on broadcast. So what are you guys talking about?
We've been joking about it the last couple of days that if Sumail had an option to hide minimap, he would
see more of his screen.
Exactly.
And that's a joke that stemmed from his time on Liquid.
On Liquid, yes.
And that why did that happen?
You have to ask your best friend William Lee.
Well, yeah, I mean, you told me he died once when he had vision, and you guys just memed him out of existence.
Probably, I don't remember how this started, but it was probably he got ganked mid when there was a ward, and William was watching his player perspective, thinking Sumail's gonna back off here, and then Sumail didn't. And then William was like, Sumail, use your minimap. It's good. And then we all started moving him.
And then it's just set in stone. Carl's out of mana. Oh, well, actually, does have 6 magic wand charges, so he's kind of baiting him in a little bit for one last jump away, and that jump is far enough. Sumail trying to catch him midway through. 23 Savage right in the middle of all of these heroes. Sumail not too afraid of him, and Zapped, he's gonna be a swap back. 2 seconds, he doesn't actually have his ult. Oh no, Sumail. Then T1 realized they made a grave error. Zeb is gonna be able to get off a good ultimate though, and in return, 23 Savage has overextended himself and received tips from OG.
That is unfortunate. I think 23 said it best. Sumail, a bit of a blunder there. I think he was trying to like catch the storm almost, but as you said, the mana was enough to get him out. And then Savage just kind of returned to the favor.
I think the storm went too far. Like I didn't expect him to be able to jump that far, so he must have had a soul ring that's more than 600.
Yeah. Between Soul Ring and I think it was 6 magic wand charges.
Yeah.
Whitemon almost dying there. Thompson still playing the edges, looking for that last light. They are going to be able to get a nice overgrowth, lock him down with the ice path, followed up. Thompson instead. Sumail may just fall again if they can somehow get in front of him. They've got to swap. Sumail's going to show. There it is. Swap back, stunned while the Dark Pact is down, and T1 holding their ground, holding the line around the tier 1 tower, winning these fights.
And this goes back to what we talked about earlier, right? If you let T1 fight, if you let them play to their limits, you put them in a position where they're allowed to play Dota, they're a fantastic team. And they're showing that here. They're holding their own against OG.
Carl's balling out. He's 5-0-3. But like his score doesn't really reflect like how much he's like had to play Dota this game. Pretty much dueling Thompson since minute 2. Another kind of uncharacteristic mistake from Sumail. Yes, I am talking to you. I'm not quite sure why you keep going middle and pouncing into tier 1 towers, my friend.
Yeah, he was having a totally free game. Don't you just kind of like chill out for a while?
I think the Storm thing, it would have been a big play, you know? He didn't expect the Soul Ring. He gets that. We're talking about how sick of a play that is.
That's true.
This is what Dota comes down to ultimately, like these small things. And I think right now, when it comes to the micro decision making, T1 looks slightly sharper. I think OG, when it came to the macro and like the decision making and understanding how to execute their draft, that's really been their strengths.
Yeah.
And I think when OG's forced to play these micro decision making games, that's when they sometimes tend to suffer.
No, it's a really good point because like this game, there's no huge like strategical advantage OG can lean on. They've just got to ball out. Like they just got to play Dota and hope the best.
They're going to pop out, but at the same time, T1 did smoke over, so this is going to be a full-on team fight with Carl. He's going to target down the Rubik first. They're going to be able to get on Thompson as well. No root just yet. Slide into a chain out. They're going to be able to get away on him. The core survived. The supports will die.
It's so hard to play into Jakiro tree. Like you can just see, you know, maybe in the past you had experience playing like World of Warcraft, you know, standing just slightly out of range of the fire or the roots, but in this case, if you catch it for a second, I think No-Tail was saving the W there, but ends up just kind of standing in Macrofire and dies to a root control.
Sumail did get solo mid tower
Yeah.
as a result of that.
So this is what OG does so well, and I noticed them doing in all these games. Like, yeah, they lost the team fight, but they traded 1 for 2. They effectively lost their 2 supports. T1 burnt a lot of cooldowns. They brought their carry to the fight, and Sumail's just free farming. So Sumail's getting to choose when he wants to fight against heroes. So even though like he's died twice here, a little bit uncharacteristically, it's only been because of his own mistakes. It's not because T1's able to apply any pressure to his game. And it's pretty telling. It means that OG are heavily in control of the game. And I think if you ask the OG players right now, like, who's winning, they're like, we're dominating this game. Everything's going the way we are expecting it to.
Yeah, I mean, Thompson got away with this pretty greedy build as well. Maxed out W and like Maelstrom already. Like, he's just able to farm now very efficiently. Yep. Dead.
Jump in, jump out.
Looking good.
Rune spawn bottom, ultimately DD for Thompson. So you're saying that like OG probably thinks that they feel really good about this game. Dota Plus actually has T1 up 66%. Do you agree with that? Are you saying like just OG thinks that this game is going fine, but it's not actually the case, or what?
I think OG are happy because they're in control. They're setting the pace of the game, and I think that's what they want to be doing. And they know that as long as it's like the game is on them to mess up. They know that T1's going to respond to them. They just need to predict in what way they're going to do it and then react to what's happening. And I think as T1, you don't feel good because you're always playing the response game to the enemy team. You're not like, if you notice, trolls in every engagement. Every time we move our camera somewhere, there's a troll there. And he's being poked, he's being harassed. But Carl is balling out of control. So, I mean, Carl is feeling himself for sure. He's enjoying this thoroughly.
Now, you say they won't feel good reacting all the time. Is that just like a general rule, or do like some players or teams prefer reacting to the enemy making moves?
So I think you enjoy reacting when you're killing them and then you're getting something out of it. You know that you're progressing your game. You're getting closer to where you want to be. And I mean, obviously they have been, but I think like, if you think about all the small things that are going in their favor, all it takes is one of these fights not to, and then suddenly we're going to feel like Slark is unkillable and we can't do anything about him. So I think from OG's perspective, they feel like they can lose 10 fights, but as soon as they win 1, the map is going to open up for them.
Okay, so T1 has to parry perftly every single time.
Exactly.
And we haven't seen them slip up yet.
No, exactly. I think what T1's doing is like perfect, but OG also are aware of that. Like, he needs to keep going this way.
And I love when you
Whitemount quickly killed T1. Actually, they stole Macropire on Soxa. That's a big pickup.
Sumail, he went for the Dark Pact cooldown, and it's because he's just kind of the win condition. Like Aiden is saying, like his deaths are kind of on him. It's really tough for T1 to deal with Slark in this game, unless Troll or Storm just gets like an item ahead. And even then, it's still a little rough because you're playing with no-tail in your back pocket. So I think that's part of the reason Carl's like skipping the Orchid here, because it's still not killing Slark. Even if he can't save himself, if no-tail's just there, that entire item is now squandered, and I really like the Kai Sanch for that reason, just better fit here.
It feels like T1's strategy to win this game is they're going to try to play like a ball so Slark doesn't feel comfortable running into them, and then they're going to try to kill off the other heroes. They want to leave Slark for last and like deal with him once they get there.
And you said early on, like, the strategy for T1, win the lanes, which they didn't actually do, but the other thing you said was they need to stave off OG's aggression, and, like, during this crucial period of time where Venge, Storm, and Troll all need items. And we're about to reach the end of that, right? Cuckoo is about to get his Aghanim set.
And that is huge. Like, yeah, Venge doesn't help too much with the Slark, but it is a great defensive save for the Pounce, but it's also really nice against Monkey King. You can get him out of the Wukongs.
Absolutely.
We saw it used offensively to get Slark killed earlier.
And swapping Monkey out of, and
Aghanims doesn't give charges to the Slark. In addition, it's like 2 lives, right? So you can just be this frontliner that your team kind of needs, plus damage steroid for the Troll.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, stolen Macropire. That's actually going to do enough damage to be able to quickly kill Carl. Great play from Soxa and Sumail, and a big pickup too. 599 bounty for Carl.
The sentry, was that just he didn't have vision of the Slark because he got close? The root?
Gonna go for it here. Cuckoo does have this. Oh, he actually doesn't have the Aghanims just yet. The Overgrowth just off the mark there. Little awkward. 23 Savage not able to catch up to Thompson. It's just this trio that is forcing a pretty big response out of T1, but the Axe is now here for Cuckoo.
I'm loving it. Just no-tail is just so good in these games. It's like, you see, it always seems to be right place, right time.
I think that's always been one of his biggest strengths as a player. I mean, his understanding of the map, I think, like, for as long as I can remember, I've always thought is like probably one of the best in the world. Even back when he used to play carry and used to play these Nagas and stuff, he always knew like where to be, where to cut, what waves to be on. And I think, yeah, he's utilizing it perfectly here, even as a support player.
Yeah. Like, if Thompson doesn't have No-Tail with him there, he just kind of feeds, and he's like, what's he doing, guys? But
Yeah.
No-Tail with the immediate cleanse of the initial stun. Like, the root, we heard the root animation, and it didn't seem like he spent any time rooted.
Yeah, so let me tell you a secret. I learned this when I was playing with Sumail. When you have these really over-aggressive player types, like Sumail when he's mid, or Thompson, you kind of get it for free almost, because you know they're going to run into trouble. Because you've seen it happen so many times that you can easily position yourself behind them. And if the enemy team doesn't respond to these players, they're just going to get so much out of the map.
Nice long jump from Carl is going to be able to catch. Oh no, Saksa caught him with the telekinesis and stole ball lane.
I really like that point because I've had the experience of the opposite kind of player, which is passive to a fault. And the trouble is when you play around them and they don't push their limits, you end up feeling completely useless because nothing's happening on the map. When you play around these guys that know what to do, that get in there, that create action and chaos, suddenly you feel like you have a purpose.
I feel like occasionally our casts just serve as a sort of therapy for Kyle to be able to get over his former team experiences.
I'm just here for the Dota cap. It's nice to watch good players at the best of their abilities.
Long jump over. Zeb gonna be caught, but immediately there is gonna be the purge coming out from No-Tail, but they still can keep going. Duel going out, just trying to keep the storm in place, but it's gonna be a duel that is actually not won, just ever so barely. Turns around, nice stun, but mana, okay, they don't want to chase any longer, and it's probably for the...
Love Seb's filter. He had the Echo Saber queued up initially, but I think Mage Slayer, even as the offlaner, is just the right choice. It's something I love about OG is that they're always getting these items that are right for the game to help out the heroes that count. In this case, it would be this Clark.
I'm interested to see how this Mage Slayer plays out.
It's out of the magic missile. Thinking about pursuing here, especially with the Storm Sphere being chased away there a bit. He can't come back to join the team fight perhaps, and they're going to be able to hit a nice two-man stun. Cuckoo may be the first to die, but remember he's got that extra life. Throws out a magic missile, keeping Sumail back. T1 do a pretty good job. They do have BKB on the troll, so they might be turning this. BKB, there it goes. Who's he going to target? They swap back in No-Tail, which is who they want to be able to gun for. They finally get off the Sumail, and Sumail, he doesn't have any. They lock him down, finish him off. Nicely played by T1. 50 seconds, he's dead for T1, turning on a dime. They're so good at kiting team fights back and re-engaging.
Yeah,
they're battlers, they're brawlers, and OG are playing to their strengths.
Yeah, I think this game they have a draft that can play the game.
Yes.
I think the OG really managed to corner him in the last draft and put him in a position that they didn't feel like they knew what to do.
Yeah.
But this time around, they're playing perfectly. I think one of the key things for these team fights, Vengeful Spirit is one of the best heroes against saves, because you can either swap the save hero out of position, or you swap the hero that you're going on out of position, so the save hero can't use his back.
It's deceptive because OG, they kill the Venge and they feel good, right? But Cuckoo is fine with that. Suddenly his spells are back up. A great setup. And then Whitemon gets the double ice path to ensure the kills. And 23 Savage, I was like, man, you're in some big trouble. But he had to save the ulti, because if he pops it while he's still in Wukong's, then the whole fight just takes place under Seb. And T1 are really just done for. But because he gets it off so much later, Sumail's now out of position with no ultimate. They have no Wukongs. They really have just no save left. And suddenly things turn out A-okay. But still anybody's game.
Absolutely. Anybody could do this still.
What do you think of the Aghanims on Sumail? Because I feel like that's an item for when you're snowballing hard. Like, the double pounce is nice, but, you know, it doesn't feel like he's strong enough to just kind of get into the middle of T1 and battle at the moment.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think the idea is probably just to be able to get in, kill one, get out, or catch Storm, chase him down, like, just more disable, more mobility. I think it's always hard to question mobility. It's always so strong, especially in these types of games.
Is there any way it can answer like the swap, right? He pounces one, they get swapped out of it, but he could still keep going, right?
Yeah.
Question. The thing is, I just fear, like, this is the Venge factor. Like, Troll's just a stronger carry. Even though Sumail's slightly ahead in the net worth, if you look at the itemization, just Falcon Blade, Maelstrom, BKB with the Venge behind you. Like, that Venge counts as that extra item. And that means, you know, Sumail won't really be able to trade too well against 23.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for For OG, it's not about the carry killing the other carry. It's more about how can you kill out the supports.
Yeah.
I think both the supports of T1 have been doing a great job of knowing their limit and surviving on that sliver of health.
Oh, they managed to catch him, but there is going to be the defensive swap. 23 Savage is going in. He's going to try and deal with Thompson first, but a stolen swap from Sox is going to be able to get him out. But the Overgrowth catching Sumail again while the Dark Back was down. Cuckoo dies, but immediately comes back as a Spirit, catching Seb, swapping him out of his own ultimate and keeping him in place. 23 Savage is keeping the rest at bay, and his team can deal with leftover behind Seb. Straight for Roche.
I mean, the supports, Zania just said it, like, they just straight up win that fight. Zephyr also has Holy Locket, Heal Talent, and Living Armor. So, yeah, you can initiate on my Stormer Troll. I'm just gonna keep you alive. It's a ridiculous amount of heal and armor. And then there's an Ice Path on 3 heroes.
Yeah.
Like, Sumail doesn't do damage.
Something very interesting that Zephyr also did this game is he maxed out Leech Seed. I don't think I've ever seen that done before. But to be honest, I've been on the panel. It's been hard to see exact skill builds for people, but it's really, it makes a lot of sense to me when you see the game play out and how it plays out. If anything goes on the backline, he drops Leech Seed, they all get healed, they're playing like a ball, so it just gives all of them so much effective health.
Yep. 35% healing increase as well, so obviously it doesn't help you with your grasp, but it just ensures that you're going to have even more sustain for your allies.
Yeah.
And they're really not able, I feel like you want to find Whitemon in the back on the Jakiro, but it's just not a possibility. And even if you were to do so, Cuckoo has the swap. The Venge really seems like it's paying off. Like, we questioned it, but it gives them that ability to ball up, to your point. Because you have all this sustain and a little bit of the damage amplification, so your carry just all of a sudden 2k ahead with an Aegis.
I think the difficult part of the game for T1 was really getting to this point. Getting to the point where they can ball up. OG now, I think they're going to have to try to split them up. They're going to have to force these heroes out of position and force like multiple initiations at once. They have the tools to do it. They just got to be able to like get the Ember going on one target, get the Stark in on another, because if they're all balling down on the same hero, it's just going to be 12-3.
Yeah, one nice pick off the BKB from Thompson is caught by the Overgrowth from Zephyr. Still has a decent amount of magic immunity time, but is it going to be enough to be able to get him out of this hell? Is T1 surrounding him with so many heroes, and he's out of remnants. He is out of double kill for Carl.
Thompson, BKB into the tree, job by Zephyr. Another reason the hero seems very strong in T1's hands. They needed their own tool of BKB.
Yeah.
They've got it now. Sanj and Yash on the troll. It really feels like it's T1's game to lose now. 24-10, you got to be feeling yourselves. Still anybody's game in terms of like the gold differential, but you know, if anyone would agree with us, it's probably Seb, who hates the fact that you see net worth on the top of the screen, because that has nothing to do with who's winning in a game of Dota. It's about timing, it's about team composition, and it does feel like Dota Plus has that same idea, because even less than 1,000 gold, 81% win rate, you gotta figure T1's gonna outscale.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've weathered the storm, so to speak. Like, OG needed to take control early, and there's still absolutely hope. They gotta play these fights smart.
23 Savage was very far forward, and OG looked to be able to potentially punish him. Not going to be able to get the immediate duel. The swap from Sox is still stolen and still managed to get out No Tail. Pounds forward, Sumail does manage to get on top of the support, so there is going to be Whitemon down. An important member of T1 to be able to stay alive in these team fights. The swap back in, managed to get the duel. 23 Savage gets the duel off. Sumail keeping him inside of the Wukong's command, where he will die there. OG finally managed to win a team fight, a big one at that, where they get 3, and Carl thought maybe they could turn around on a Seb, but Seb does have Sumail right behind him, so even if they do manage to kill this Monkey King, they may be losing both of them here as...
Oh no, 23 Savage, what have you done?
Bad time for lag.
What?
So,
Was
like
he
we talked
lagging
about,
30 seconds ago? Was he farming tower by himself?
this is the thing, right? If they ever drop this ball, they don't have the positioning, they don't have the way they don't position their heroes the way they were doing earlier. This is what's going to happen. And OG are always on the prowl. I think they're going to take over the entire map now, try to clear out the vision, and then make sure that they are able to continue chasing the T1 heroes down once they spawn.
He's got 196 extra agility.
Damn.
Can't click the Monkey King, don't click me then.
Please.
This is very unfortunate, because that was a stolen Venge stun, and I think Carl might have been part of that as well.
Yeah, they're going going to be able to catch both of them. They do manage to finish off Seb, which was what the original trap was laid for, but it doesn't matter.
53 stacks on Sumail now. He has 212 bonus agility.
Yeah, it's almost as, I mean, more than the 196 I pointed out 10 seconds ago.
Focus on observing, Cap.
I'm leading this TriCast and doing observing. The least you could do is listen to me when I talk, Kyle.
I'm so focused there. The Dota is fantastic. Okay, so we already see the big mistake has just happened, which is somehow 23 Savage is dead alone in front of tower, then comes out immediately BKBs, which I think is actually a mistake here because suddenly he can't, like, he's backing with BKB, right? And to your point, Aiden, they now don't have the tools to properly position a fight. He has to use ulti. He's swapped in, wins the duel, but look at how this fight happens now, right? Everybody's zoned by the Wukongs, and he's just stuck inside of it. This is when Monkey King plays well into Troll. If you can force this, you're going to always be happy.
Yeah, it's just the Monkey King arena here just zones off anything, but they really need the Venge to be present when they take the fight.
Sumail, he's still got some stats going, and he's not slowing down whatsoever. These pounces are staying on top of these supports. They cannot seem to get away. Swap back in, no tail. Now he's in an awkward position. They're going to jump on a 23 Savage, turns around, bops a BKB before the stun can come in for the Monkey King, but again, he's going to retreat with that BKB. No, he's not. He's going to finish off Sumail. Turns around real quick, blows him up, does manage to get the swap back in, and 23 Savage heals up just a little bit. Can he finish off Seb before and stay alive? He does. Thompson's going to come in, trying to finish off 23 Savage, does get that one. With the BKB, might be able to get two here. Zephyr, just one slide away from dying, actually does die to Saksa. Gaining up two, TPing out, doesn't leave a remnant behind.
No mana for the pull. We were talking to No Tail the other day. He said Fog Blind is the best because you can use it when you're winning or you're losing. It's the best flame or a way to keep your team motivated as we once again hit a pause. Oh, but it's nice to take a break sometimes.
Yeah, this has been a very, very exciting game.
I like this.
Nice to get the pulse down a bit. Absolutely.
Why are you guys looking at me?
You're in charge.
Okay, analysts, please talk about this game state.
It's paused currently. I don't think much is happening.
That's a good observation. I didn't realize that.
You're welcome. That's
we
10K MMR analysis
you
for
can,
you right
you
there.
can break down this replay
Feel
that
free,
I
Kyle.
shouted over.
Well, No Tail does not have his W available. Sumail uses Dark Pact. Then you're going to see Sumail go right back in again. Dark Pact. However, he does not press his ultimate button and gets immediately silenced as it fades by Carl just before he tanked that stolen Venge stun. So, Sumail dies as No Tail had no ability to save his carry.
Sick timing from Carl. That was really good.
That was very good. And that's what makes playing into the Slark so difficult because it's like of all heroes that kind of demonstrate the frustrating nature of Dota, it's like, did you get the Orchid? Okay, well, you've won the fight. Oh, did he hit Q or R just as you did? Well, you've lost the fight. And them's the breaks.
I think you gotta love to gamble if you want to play Slark. It's like a little bit of it, right? It's the mind game of, am I gonna Q or am I not? So we were having this discussion on the panel earlier about, what if you showed mana bars for both sides? Like if you could see the enemy team's mana bars. A hero like Slark would instantly die, right? It would just ruin the concept of Dark Pact because you would just see the mana bar move. So it was a hard no on my end.
Indeed, and I will say I would also love, because we both play, oh hang on,
Not going to be able to get away. Maybe his Spirit can get out? As they do have the Train Protector on the way. Yeah, they're kind of realizing they're not going to go for the Spirit at all. In fact, if anything, they may be swapped back into Doom here. Seb, going to be silenced. Carl not fully committing to this one, though. They haven't seen the Slark just yet. Cuckoo. He's going to try and start backing away. Thompson's looking for some of these heroes. Sumail pounces forward. He's going to go for Whitemon here. Starts stealing some of those stacks. Tries to stick on top of him and should be able to get that kill on the right-hand side. Thompson does catch the other support at the same time. That's going to be Zephyr. At the same time, Sumail has to be careful here, especially with the Cuckoo. His Spirit is going to get burned out, but he could buy back if he wants to and rejoin this fight as a full-out hero. No longer the case. No longer an option. T1 will retreat, giving this fight to OG.
The LC shard is so good because that BKB time gives you those extra seconds to almost always have Dark Pact back. Yeah, and I thought Sumail had overextended once again, but No Tail this time was ready to save.
Yeah. And if you just think about this game, like, how many times did we just see T1 absolutely like outplay, play to their limit, do all these small things right, And despite that, like, the game is fairly even.
Yeah. What a probability back in OG.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, like, this is the trouble. Like, you're playing against OG and you make a pretty big mistake up top. Give away that Aegis advantage that if you swap roles, maybe OG utilized to get a,
They're just so good at applying the pressure, right? They're always in your face, and you're always forced to play extremely sharp. And the second you stop, that's what happens.
Oh, we got it!
Does manage to get the pounds. The team is coming in, but it's too late. Carl's already dead. Double damage of Sumail made short work of Carl and OG. They could just keep going. Certainly are going to be looking for somebody here. Zephyr not spotted, it seems.
All has buyback, though. Would not be surprised to see him use.
Yeah, considering how aggressively T1 is positioned, even though they're missing their mid laner, Seb, he sees this. He's spotting some heroes right now. Swap back into the ice path. That's a good hold, but he did not manage to get it in. Snare out. The troll did not get lucky, and Cuckoo will die for what he thought was going to be an Ember Spirit kill. Pounce through the Spirit, doesn't actually latch on top of him. And that is going to be the Spirit being gone as well. I can't believe T1 tried that. It was a risk, and it was not a calculated one.
Yeah, this is looking really, really good for OG now. They're knocking at their door. Hopefully forcing 2 buybacks here.
This is where things get a little spooky, just because suddenly OG have this ability to play, like, T1 were kiting while they were controlling the area, but now suddenly OG's reach potential has doubled. They have the Aghanim's on both cores. Seb is able to play trees. And so it's just so hard now for the Jakiro tree to set up like we saw them do so effectively in the mid game, because suddenly Sumail's just gunning for them.
Yeah, OG's getting the initiation in all these last fights. They're getting the kind of jumps that they want. They want these fights when T1 is not balled up. T1 needs the ball where it feels impossible for OG to commit in. But it might be reaching that point where Sumail is now tanky enough to go in, knowing that he has Noto to purge him, and he can just apply all the pressure.
He has the Scotty as well, so Silver Edge to boot. Feeling very good. And it also feels like a lot of these fights are starting when he already has some stacks built up. It's definitely been helpful.
So you notice top here, he just goes in, pushes the wave a little bit, makes sure it's going in the right direction, and now he's already moving over to the next bit.
No Tails camping pit. I'm sure he's aware that this will be up momentarily, and there it is.
T1,
They go.
they know this timing as well. They're sweeping over to the Roshan pit. They have no idea how low it is. Now they get some vision. Cuckoo spots that Sumail is trying to solo it. Both teams just going to hold their side of the high ground around Roshan.
Yeah, and this is like a classic standoff, right? Neither team really wants to fight into their team's vision. So now it's going to be like a little bit of a strategic game of who can get the smoke. You're trying to wait here to get a timing where the enemy team is not ready. So something that you might see teams do around this time is, if you look at the clock up top, it says 33:40, right? So you know at every complete minute the camps spawn. So you know that the heroes are going to be around the jungle at that timing when the camps are spawning. Because you know they're grouped up, there's not a lot of farm on the map available to them. So that's a potential timing for you to make a move. But it seems like OG, they recognize that they're just balled up. So they send top sun to the side lane, push it out, get more info, and then make a play based off that.
Oh, grabs the double damage and managed to get the pounce, and it's going to force out the swap from Cuckoo and probably get him killed as he's pulled back in by the telekinesis. His Spirit will manage to get out at least.
No buyback though.
Yeah.
However, who cares, right? You're still in the game. Sumail's being a lot more disciplined as well though with the ultimate usage. It's now preemptive, which I think has been key.
The Storm Spirit had to go all the way back to Fountain, so may not be here unless he wants to make a real gun at it and go for a long, long zip. Keeping the vision inside. Sumail's double damage is going to wear out. Storm's going to start TPing onto the outpost. Thompson is in. Thompson's going straight up for those supports. Sumail, not sure where he's gone into, but 23 Savage is a little bit isolated here. Cuckoo's trying to keep pace to make sure he can swap back 23 Savage to get him away from Sumail, while Seb is scaring back the rest of these heroes. Thompson's going to be able to finish off Zephyr. That's going to be first. 23 Savage looks at Seb. Carl commits with the Aghanim Scepter, they're pulling them both in, but inside of that Monkey King ultimate, they don't feel great. Again, the stolen swaps coming out from Saksa is going to be able to keep his cores feeling good and feeling aggressive. As telekinesis tossed back, chained up together, toss, duel, going going out. No tail. They turn around quickly, kill him. Winner, and Carl gets away before Sumail can hunt him down. But Sumail doesn't kill. He's going to be able to go for the supports and may still be able to catch Carl. Carl, no mana. Sumail bounce on top of him. They catch him. 4 dead on the side of T1. And now Roshan is going to go the way of OG.
So this team fight, I don't see any other player than TopSun doing this. But you notice how he just straight up into no vision, rolls in with the Ember. He knows that they're there. He's playing off of the fact that he knows that they're positioned there. That's how 95% of supports are going to position themselves when their cores are running into the Roche pit. And they get this team fight where there's like basically 4 fights going on at once. TopSun's chasing supports. You have Sumail chasing 23 Savage, and you're forcing T1 to not be able to use that swap to just save whoever's getting initiated on. It's really, really smart gameplay coming out from OG, and they're doing a lot of this blind. They're not playing off of vision. They're playing off of where they think they're doing, what they think they're doing, and their own game sense.
Yep, they're just forcing skirmishes.
Yes.
And they're ensuring that supports die, which they were unable to do earlier in the game. And I even love the way like they're itemizing with this knowledge of like how they're gonna play. TopSun is going refresher. Like he is playing for like these quick fights. It's all about survival for OG. Create chaos. T1, they need a more coordinated method to win fights. Like they need to kind of control. You saw even there when Savage got kills, it was with like 3 or 4 heroes collapsing. You actually had targets, the big ice path.
Yes.
OG, they're just, you know, pre-ulting on Sumail, spamming dark packs. You got No Tail just kind of waiting the wings to get off cleanses, and TopSun's gonna have 10 remnants. How do you hit a man who's invulnerable and flying through you?
And he probably gonna buy the shark too, right? So every kill he gets, that's another bonus remnant. I wouldn't be surprised to see it right after the refresher.
With very nice items for Sumail protected. I think that makes sense just because it boosts your regen time when you're off map.
It's just not really anything he needs to flicker. He has enough purge with the Dark Pact at this point that the lifesteal is just better for him.
Paladin Sword's doubly effective because he's also got the shard too,
Precisely.
right?
Point. Slark Shroud is so broken. Troll will end up attacking no one if used.
Can actually save against the semi-black hole coming out from the Storm Spirit with the Aghanim Scepter.
So yeah, I think for OG it's going to be important to continue taking fights like that, where they can predict where their supports are going to be positioned and TopSun can just roll in. He's just continuously going to do this, I'm sure. He's just going to jump into the backlines. He knows he has like 5 different jumps, so eventually he'll find them. There are only so many spots that they could be hiding in.
He also
and the 25 talent, right?
Yeah, he talented totally for Searing Chains as well. So you're just going to see him zipping back and forth, spamming chains. Here we go.
Cuckoo did still manage to get the swap, but 23 Savage can't hit him right now. Sumail, his ultimate was used, still has the Depth Shroud. They're going to turn around and start doing some damage with a pull-in onto Carl. They do something to Sumail, but he's going to be popping his BKB. 23 Savage responds in kind here. Cuckoo's going to fall. Spirit form now. They do manage to get the nice lockdown. Macro Fire going out. The Ice Path can actually lock down, but Tom's a refresher. BKB still potentially up. Chase for Carl doesn't actually quite get him. Meanwhile, 23 Savage is just getting kited around and ripped apart by the rest of OG. Now with no carry, T1 very likely going to be dying here unless Carl could do something magical by himself, but he just doesn't have it in him. Doesn't have level 25 nor the shard. Wow. GG is called. OG will take the second game here against T1. T1 definitely putting up a much better fight, but you gotta think back to that moment. 23 Savage just way overconfident in his positioning, not respecting perhaps OG's aggression enough, and I feel like that's going to come back to haunt him, because this has been a story that has been there for 23 Savage for what has been a relatively young career. Last TI qualifiers, he didn't make it, and he felt like it was a mistake of his own, and many people agreed. And now he's finally here, and he's like, the nightmare's over, but I feel like that same nightmare, it's a recurring one, you know?
You can't make mistakes against the top.
I mean, they apply the pressure on you non-stop. Yeah. They force this mistake out. I don't think it's necessarily just him making the mistake, but OG are constantly pressuring you. And you saw them. They were trading out in fights all game long, but they were never really getting that far ahead. They were never really getting objectives out of it. And that's what I mean. I think OG feel very comfortable taking these fights, even though they're losing them, as long as they are setting the pace. They are the ones that get to decide what happens.
We were talking about this. It doesn't feel like, you know, losses, misplays, whatever, ever affect OG. They lost a couple of big fights. Sumail made what, like 3 pretty big mistakes, but you know, you make one, and suddenly we're in an even game, and it's the same OG.
what's reigning supreme in this series.
I think it's yeah.
Triano up towards the top.
It'd be way too good. It'd have to be like at least a couple hundred gold.
So Snapfire cookies are just invaluable.
Taking steps around Weaver. I mean, time lapse on a chrono target is real.
Choose your hero.
Lapse. And of course, to an extent, Mars can somewhat save against Chrono if he gets a good arena off. You can at the very least prevent Void from doing much in the Chrono, right? You can just place the arena where the Chrono is and pin him to the wall. You can place it so that he kind of has to be in there and get walled until he has BKB. So it's something, but yeah. Let's see if Elephant have got their act together, because as it sounded on Trent and Lyrical, like I said earlier, especially Trent was very disappointed in the last series that Elephant weren't taking much initiative. They have a lineup here that can make its own destiny, right? There are plays.
I mean,
you have Mars Void Spirit. You can
I'm
make
going to say this again, even if they've gotten off to a bit of a rough start, I think the team on paper that has the highest ceiling actually. Do you agree with that? Like the only question mark for me in terms of going long term, Super has a long history, but not playing position 5.
Right.
He's historically not, was it position 1 back in the day, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Weren't taking much initiative. I don't know if they have a lineup here that can
but
make
I definitely think
like individual players in this team.
Mars
Void 3 in their position.
Say this again,
Saying
even
they're
if
just
they've
flat
gone
out
off
the
to a
best
bit of a rough
is
start,
tough, right? Like you
I
have
think
teams like PSG, LGD that are just.
I would say they've hit close to their ceiling already. I'm saying Elephant is not playing well despite having god tier players.